Halloween.
Forever.
Good evening, Steven. How's it going?
It's going good, Brian. How you doing?
You know what? Pretty good. I got one for you. Are you prepared for one?
I am prepared for one.
All right. Just one for you. We won't overdo it.
Good.
What was that bulging there under the leprechaun's trousers?
I mean, Shillelagh isn't a good sack of gold.
No, sir. It's his weenie. Welcome, boils and ghouls. Steve's got a real puzzled look on his face, and I'm gonna let him just sit with that for another second. Let him simmer with it, and then I'll explain.
Welcome to it. I don't like it.
Very lucky Minisode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
I'm Steve. The problem.
You got it.
The problem.
You got it.
Yeah, the problem with the delivery is it does need an accent.
His weenie.
Yeah. It's his weenie.
That's what I said. How could I?
No,
it's his weenie.
It's his weenie under there. It's his weenie.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I guess I don't know. I don't do a good Irish accent. It just ends up going kind of Canadian on me.
Yeah, Irish or Canadian sometimes.
Yeah, that's true too. They're occasionally Canadian. That's a good band name, Occasionally Canadian. Guys, we're not Canadian this week. We're Irish, of course, because we are deep into the Isles of March. And we're going to talk a little bit about your favorite franchise. Steven, when you're talking about March horror movies, of course, you're talking about that perhaps among the lamest of holidays. No, I'm not talking about Valentine's Day. We already did that one. We're into March. We're talking about St. Patrick's Day, which is, of course, a dog shit holiday. However, I will say the one thing it's got going for it, it does promote binge drinking, which I do believe is a zesty little enterprise on occasion. But otherwise, it's just overpriced, shitty food, idiots dressing like dipshits, or perhaps dipshits dressing like idiots. But there is but one horror franchise most associated with the St. Patrick's Day season, which is, of course, Leprechaun. So we're talking Leprechaun here, not just the original film, but the 2018. Well, what is this? It's a retcon, really, of the franchise.
Yeah, retcon reboot sequel.
Which we'll talk about. The dare I say, a literal Hallow Green.
Oof.
Kind of like that. Great, because remember when he did that and he made it like it was right after the first one, and that's what we did here. We're going to talk about that. But of course, before we get into all that mess, Steve, is there any degree of likelihood that you got a wet one in front of you and you're thinking about slurping on it?
Brian, I do in fact have a wet one. And I'm not just thinking about slurping on it. I've been slurping on it. And
been slurping.
Been
slurping.
Been done slurping on it. And you would hate it because I don't think I like it. So
yeah. And if you don't like it, I don't like anything. So
right. So you would hate it. But I thought I was going to go a little bit, for the season, for the times. And I have the Southern Tier Irish Coffee Cream Ale. Now, when I bought this, I thought it was going to be an Irish coffee stout, but it is in fact a yellowy cream ale. And it is not good because it doesn't have enough roasty coffee notes to it. it leans far heavier onto artificial vanilla whipped creaming flavor, and
barf.
It's too sweet, not enough coffee. It doesn't have any of the other associated like bitter and warming type of flavors you'd expect from a stout, because it's not a stout.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it's just drink, and on top of all that, it's not even gas, because it's only 5.5%.
Man, just striking out on all fronts there. That's unfortunate. That's an unfortunate kickoff to your St. Patrick's Day binge drinking season. I'm doing even worse because I did not get any Irish beer, which was a mistake. I should have. I was near a beer establishment this afternoon. I should have went and got it. I totally forgot. I'm getting ready to travel tomorrow, and I'm going to be gone all weekend. And I'm a little busy, and I just was a little absent-minded, and I didn't get any Irish beer, but I'll make up for it later in the month. Today, I'm drinking a beer that I think I mentioned on a previous podcast, which is the exact opposite of yours in that it is real fucking good. Once again, drinking that Springfest IPA from Sierra Nevada, just a real nice golden colored, straw colored, dry, nice, effervescent, sharp, kind of tropically, kind of resiny, kind of herbaceous, kind of almost that like oily herb type of thing.
Yeah.
IPA. I'm freaking digging it. Just digging the hell out. I'm going to be drinking the shit out of this beer until Summerfest comes out.
Well, sometimes Irish can be Californians, so.
Yeah, I mean, as if the Season of the Witch taught us anything, it's that there are certain towns in California that are just lousy with Irish. Irish warlocks and goddamn robots. Anyway, in any case, I have another one on deck here from our friend. This is actually a collab. I think I might have mentioned this on a previous podcast. I don't know if I got around to drinking it, but a collab between two great breweries, Cinderlands here in Pittsburgh and Human Robot in Philadelphia. I think I might have mentioned this. Pray Tell.
Oh, you mentioned
amber
it.
Lager.
Yeah, but you didn't have it on the show.
I don't know if I got drinking on it yet.
All
right. Well, I'm going to finish this Sierra Nevada. Then I'm going to start slurping on this. So I'll give you a little update on it. This is a 12-degree Czech amber lager beer. I was going to get as close as I could and do a little, instead of an Irish red ale, I had an American red ale from Aslan, and it was dog poop. I literally had about 3 sips of it and dumped it down the drain. I was like, I'm not interested in this. I'm in too good of a mood. I'm too excited to talk about this stupid movie to drink bad beer. It was oxidized, even though it was in code, and, not necessarily their fault. Somebody could have done something horrible to that beer, stored it improperly, whatever. But also, it was just a rat shit recipe.
Yeah.
It was way too much crystal malt. It was like really heavy handed with the specialty grains. And it was just kind of toffee, sickeningly sweet, but also had some acrid edges to it. There was just nothing redeeming about it. And I dumped it down the fucking drain. So that's why I said, you know what? I'm going back to a couple beers that I know is good.
Yeah. It's funny. You said Aslan made a red, and I was like, oh, that's not usually what they're known for. They're known for IPAs and sours. And then you say it's dog shit. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That's not what they're known for.
That's the only reason I got it, was for once they brewed a beer that I thought I might like. And it was no good. No good. Went right down the motherfucking drain. Well, I'm going to let that settle for a second and start sipping on this here Czech Amber Lager. In the meantime, we got some things we got to do. First of all, for those of you who joined us for the March Showdown episode last week, you might have been surprised to see that your boy was not there. Two things. One, I left Steve hanging because I got sick. And I was sick as shit earlier in the week. And I thought, okay, I might be feeling better by Wednesday. Nope. Wednesday was literally the worst day. So I felt a real dog shit. I texted Steve in the morning. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm a fucking mess. Luckily, we did have 2 guests, so we could still do that showdown for Larry Fest. So thank you once again to the Gravetone podcast crew for jumping on there, especially in my absence. Also, one comment that I actually don't know who won, because I just started listening to the episode. I didn't get the whole way through. Steve, I don't know if you want to, spoil it for folks to tell them who won or how you want to go about that.
Well, usually this episode would be our punishment episode. But Megan and Arthur they're traveling and their schedules just didn't line up. So they will be available next week, hopefully. And then that will be our punishment episode. And you can, I think we can just keep it. I mean, the audience knows who won and the audience knows what movie it possibly will be. You're the only one who's out of the loop. So yeah, we'll save it from you. We'll let you be surprised.
All right. Well, listen, I got an airplane ride tomorrow, so I'll listen to the rest of the podcast there, and then I'll get up to speed with all yins out there in podcast land. Second of all, you did accuse me of playing hooky to play Resident Evil 9, which first of all, I resemble that remark. Second of all, I did not purchase it yet, although that would have been a good thing to do when I was sick. I did not. I just slept all day. I have not purchased it yet. But I'll get around to it when I get five or 10 spare minutes to myself. But as you explained, we're going to do the punishment episode next week, so we can talk about leprechauns this week. But we also got to do another thing. We got to spin that son of a bitchin' wheel because we're gonna start talking, believe it or not, about the April Showdown, which is a little crazy, but it's coming up fast. So as Steve brings up the spinning ass wheel, let me remind you, if you're new to the show or you don't pay attention or whatever, here's how it works. Every single Monday, we deliver some sticky, sweet content on the internet to you, but occasionally, and by occasionally I mean the first Monday of every month, we do what's called a showdown episode. That's when me, Steven, and our guest, or perhaps our collective Patreon community, pick a movie that's associated with a particular topic. You might say, where's those topics come from? Hold your fucking horses. Here's where they come from. I'm about to explain it to you. We have a big old spinny ass wheel. It's got about a bajillion different topics on it. Could be anything from a particular performer to a trope to a horror subgenre, whatever. But we got a lot of them. We spin it 3 times. We put those 3 potential topics out on the social medias for our listeners and friends to vote on. You tell us which one it's going to be. Then we pick movies associated with that topic for the showdown. Once the showdown comes around, someone gets a people's elbow. Someone gets the D'Lo Brown frog splash with the metal plate on the chest. Someone gets a couple 2-tree European uppercuts. Eventually, after that slobber knocker, we vote, and somebody takes home that son of a bitch championship strap for the month. That person, of course, to the victor go the spoils. They get to pick the punishment episode for the next minisode. So it is that time. We're gonna spin that wheel 3 times. We're gonna get 3 topics for y'all to vote on out on the social medias. First one is for April, horror on the battlefield. And I'm jotting that down. So that is fun. We've got some war horror stories, some soldiers, something that happens on the battlefield. All right. So that was our first pick on the spinny old wheel. We've not done that one yet.
Nope.
Let's see what the second one is. Ah, yes. I like this one a lot. Has this come up even for vote before?
Oh, for sure. It's come up for vote before, but I don't know how it didn't win.
It just hasn't won.
Yeah, I don't know how it didn't win.
Yeah, I feel like this one would be one that win. Right. Yeah, this is featuring Lance Hendrickson. So the great Lance Hendrickson, I know Steven and I both big fans. I could have been either one of us that came up with that topic, but I know what my front runner is for April. So let's see what the last one's going to be.
We've definitely put the Meg rails up of no Terminator, no aliens. on that.
Yeah. Yep. No Terminator, no Aliens. And we still have 9 million more to choose from. So,
but there's plenty of Hellraiser, and you can do Alien vs. Predator. Yeah. That's fine. Because those movies are stinko. Those movies are stinko.
All right. And last, Best of Vincent Price. Wow. We got a couple of heavy hitters there in terms of crowd favorite performers. Dare I say Horror on the Battlefield, not going to stand a chance here. But we have, just as a recap, our potential April Showdown topics: Horror on the Battlefield, featuring Lance Hendrickson. So any movie that features the great Lance Hendrickson. And last, but certainly not least, the best of our old pal, Vinny Price, Vincent Price movies. So that will be really, really fun. We've definitely talked about some Lance Hendrickson movies. We've definitely talked about some Vincent Price movies. So we'll also have to consider what we've done in the past, because those will also be off limits, in addition to any Meg rails that we put up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We got the wet ones we've slurped on. We've talked about, yes, one more thing. We just recorded, and I think we'll be coming out pretty soon. Recorded a little later than expected. Again, your boy's fault for being sick. But we did our February Patreon exclusive podcast recently. Steve, why don't you tell them what's going on over there on the Patreon?
Yes, by the time you're listening to this, we're on a weird Terminator time loop at the moment of we're recording.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We're recording things before other things are completely edited, but those things have also been recorded. But by the time you're listening to this, it will be available, and it is our second episode of God Is Not Forever, and this is where we are trying to learn how to kill God through the magic of cinema. And we just recorded our second episode, in which we watched the 1989 experimental avant-garde nihilistic shit show Begotten, which was later re-edited into a Marilyn Manson music video. So yeah, we go on a long tangent about philosophy and evil in that, but we come down on how we come up with at least 4 or 5 good ways to kill God. So, tune into that. Give us $5 a month. Sign up at patreon.com/HalloweenIsForever. You get a whole mess of episodes before that, in which we did 3 other Patreon series. You get on our Discord and watch episodes happen live. You get reviews and recos. You get a whole bunch of other stuff. I saw they just added a new thing where you can now recommend. I don't know, maybe it's not that new, but we started getting recommendations from other Patreons. So if you're on Patreon, and then you can say people, hey, also go give these people money too, because they do a good product. And so,
okay.
I think that's new. I've never seen it.
Fun.
I've never seen it before, but yeah, Halloween recommended us to his audience. And so, of course, got to tell our audience about Halloween's Horror Hour on the Patreon and the Final Girls, and they called this a movie. So yeah, but go on Patreon,
of course.
Give us all money for us all. You will be sated with all of the horror content you could ever imagine. Just nom 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 nom.
You'll be richly rewarded with just a decadent smorgasbord of spookies and ookies. We are also going to talk about next month, just as a little sneak peek for those of you who are considering there. Also, the folks who are already subscribed will know this when it comes out. But when we get into next month, we're going to be talking about
this
little Takashi Miike film.
Well, this month.
This month, technically this month, which is March. Yeah, we're in this, like Steve said, we're in this weird little time loop here where things are being recorded and other things were already recorded. But yes, for this month's Patreon exclusive podcast, we are going to be talking about a fun little lesser known Takashi Miike film. So if that strikes your fancy, go check it out. Patreon.com/HalloweenIsForever. Okay. We got all the top of the show shit out of the way. We've slurped on all the wet ones. We've talked about Patreon. We've spun that spinny ass wheel for next month. Let us now get into is this the most recent film in the Leprechaun cinematic universe, or is there one that came out after this?
So I was doing research. I think this is the most recent feature. There is there is a short film that came out in last year, but it's only like a 10-minute short film. I think it might just even classify as a fan film, although it does feature Mark Holton as Ozzy again.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, this one has the most recent feature length.
Yeah, I think this is the most canonically appropriate Leprechaun film, because as we mentioned, they did a Halloween, and they went back and did a direct sequel to the 1992 movie starring Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. So they basically went back, retconned it, and made it as this is just what happened 25 years later after the original film, in a la the Halloween 2018 Halloween film. But unlike the 2018 Halloween, this was directed by Steven Kostanski. So you're in there for a good quality product. I think we've talked about just about everything this guy has directed at this point. Not literally, but we're big fans over here of what would a Steve Kostanski fan be? A Kostanskiite? I don't know. We're big fans over here. We love The Void. We love Psycho Goreman. We love. We've talked about Frankie Frico, which is awesome.
Deathstalker.
We did an episode on Deathstalker. Exactly. Like we pretty much dig every fucking thing this guy does. We've talked about BioCop and for everything. We're big fans over here, and I can safely say I've not seen every single one of the Leprechaun movies. I've seen most of them, and I actually enjoy them more than most franchises, to be honest with you. And so I was a little skeptical of this one. I hadn't watched it for whatever reason. I don't know why. But I will say, spoiler alert, pleasantly surprised. Thought this was a fun little flick.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy, nothing awesome, just a fun little addition that I feel like really is a nice spiritual addition to the franchise. I will say, like, he is always does such a great job of understanding the tone of a franchise, a project, a product. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll say this feels like the least Kostanski type movie. Like, one, he's doing kind of he's doing somebody else's franchise. And he's also, I didn't realize this was a sci-fi original film until I started watching it.
Oh, I didn't realize that either. Wow, it is phenomenal for a sci-fi original.
Yeah. For a sci-fi original film, it's phenomenal. But I didn't realize that. But it is like, I feel like it's the least Kostanski film, because it feels like he has the least amount of control. But
I'm sure
all the violence, all the kind of all the gags are very Kostanski. It's just the rest of the writing feels fucking bad and stupid.
Well,
but
it feels
fine.
very Leprechaun.
Yeah, but it feels fine for the Leprechaun series. But it feels just bad and stupid, and not his level of stupid. Like, you can when we talked about Deathstalker, you can see how he loved the Deathstalker films, but everything in that film he made his own. This and like this movie wasn't written by him. So yeah, I feel like he was kind of contracted, but like he made sure to still put his own mark, and like all the gags are great. All the deaths are fucking Looney Tunes in this movie, which is awesome. So yeah. So that's why it still comes out better than most Leprechaun films.
Yeah, 100%. And also, you got to understand, like, this is, only probably shot a year or two after The Void came out, right? And well before, like, Psycho Goreman, obviously Deathstalker, Frankie Frico, any of that stuff. So, this is more on the heels of, like, his part in ABCs of Death and The Void. So, like, he was certainly not nearly as established a filmmaker as he is now. This being 8+ years ago, but I thought this was really fun. One of the stronger entries overall in the franchise. But we'll talk a little bit about why. But let's first talk about the performers. Not an enormous amount to talk about, I will say. Taylor Spietler plays Leela, or I'm sorry, it's Lila, is it not?
Yeah, it's Lila.
Yeah, Lila, not Leela. It's weird because it's Lila. I guess that would be Lila. Anyway, she was in Amityville: The Awakening from 2017, which I regrettably missed it. Would have loved to have seen it. Couldn't make it. That's the only thing that I think most folks, or any genre fans might, know her from. We've got oh boy, you think it's Peppy, or you think it's
I think it's Peppy. I like Peppy.
Yeah, okay, Peppy Sanuga. That's sounds like a professional wrestler name. She plays Katie. She's good in this too. She's in a handful of, like, smaller budget, what really look like sci-fi originals. Cy Bennett plays Rose. Similar filmography here. Emily Reed, also similar. She plays Meredith. The big person to call out here, and really literally the only person to come back from the earlier films, is the great Mark Holton, who plays Ozzy, which, if you are me or anybody even remotely like me, you know him as Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure and the Pee-wee Herman, Paul Rubens cinematic universe. So he is Francis, one of the most memorable characters in perhaps my favorite film of all time. So I have obviously a big soft spot for him. Definitely worth calling out here as well. Lyndon Porco plays the Leprechaun. As you might imagine, Warwick Davis did not come back to reprise his role as the Leprechaun. He hadn't been involved with the franchise for years at this point. But I didn't see it, so I'm jumping to quite a conclusion here, Steven. I don't know if you did, but I have to assume I, first of all, really liked his performance as the Leprechaun. I think he did a great job. I love the look of the Leprechaun. Because you think not Warwick Davis is going to be weird, because Warwick Davis is the Leprechaun, right? You know what I mean? But I was really, it's different. It's his own thing. I was pleasantly surprised by the look, the performance, and I've got to assume it was an upgrade from Hornswoggle. Is that fair to say?
I didn't. So I think that's
you
where,
didn't see it either?
Yeah, I think that's where the chain breaks, because Warwick Davis's last Leprechaun film is in 2003. And then they go on for like, I think it's like a 10-year hiatus. And then they, for whatever fucking reason, WWE Films decides they're going to make a Leprechaun film, and they call it Leprechaun Origins. And they cast, at the time, they had a little person wrestler named Hornswoggle, who dressed up as a leprechaun, essentially, and made him the Leprechaun in Leprechaun Origins. I didn't see this film because that just looked like a piece of shit of, like, massive.
It looks like wet dog shit. Yeah.
Like, WWE Films is so fucking interesting as whatever grift it was. Like, I believe it was a grift to get, like, wrestlers health insurance because it made them SAG actors.
That's what I always read. I always read that it was, yeah, they got their SAG card so they could get health insurance. So Vince didn't have to pay for all their, CTE and broken necks
Right,
and shit.
right.
I also like these movies typically just went straight to Redbox in my recollection. So yeah, these aren't movies that are necessarily getting big box. They're not putting a lot of dollars behind them. They're just they had to have some sort of deal with Redbox because they just went straight there.
The only one that really got a lot of praise, and it's strange that it even made it there. There's a I don't know if you saw the film Oculus, directed by one Mike Flanagan.
So I've not seen it, but it's been on my to watch list for a while because it pops up on those like underrated, movies that shouldn't be this good lists kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's because it's a Mike Flanagan film, but it was a WWE Studios film as well.
It's so funny that Mike Flanagan did a WWE Studios film.
Yeah. So.
What about the one? Wasn't there one that like people were liked that had CM Punk in it? What was the CM Punk one?
I don't think that's a WWE films.
That wasn't WWE films.
No.
That just had CM Punk in it.
Yeah, because he had been out of the company for a while. I think you're talking about Girl on the Third Floor, which was.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it.
Yeah, we talked about it last week because it was directed by Travis Stevens, who also directed Jacob's Wife, and CM Punk has a small role in that as well. You didn't make it to that part in the episode.
Weird. That is a strange coincidence because I did not get to that area. I did not get to that point in the podcast, but somehow brought it up. That is a strange coincidence.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are the performers of note. Anybody else worth calling out here?
Not really. I did want to just jump back and point out that Cy Bennett, who plays Rose, she was also in Lake Placid Legacy in the same year. So it's just another like TV remake of
Lake Placid. I'm learning right now Lake Placid had a sequel.
No, you're learning Lake Placid had a threequel because there is Lake Placid 2. I believe this is the third Lake Placid film. And I could be wrong.
No.
There may be 4.
Oh no. Yeah, SYFY did some stuff back in the day. They're not proud of it. We're not proud of it, but that's where we're at.
Yeah,
this movie, I said, for a SYFY.
No, hold on. Nope. Just nope. It's actually.
Oh no!
Hold on. Let me do a count real quick. 1.
He's still counting. Jesus Christ, son of cracker.
4, 5.
He's still counting.
It's 6. It's yeah.
No, there's not 6 Lake Placid, Steve.
Yeah, so 6.
Don't say that to me. Don't say those words to me.
Because it occurred to me that Legacy is usually a 4 subtitle. But then I remembered I had seen Lake Placid, the final chapter with Yancey Butler, which was the 4.
Can I guess them? Because I feel like I would have guessed Lake Placid Legacy and Lake Placid, the final chapter.
Sure.
All right. Okay. Is there a Lake Placid revisited?
No. You can.
Is there like a something back to Lake Placid?
Nope. Brian, I'm really going to disappoint you because you're just not going to guess it unless I give you this clue, and then you might get it.
Okay.
But
all right, give me a clue.
Consider everything that is Lake Placid 3 and on are SYFY films.
Yes. Okay. It's not like a Lake Placid alligators in space situation. Is it?
No. Dial it back a little.
Lake Placid. Okay, dial it back a little. They're not going to space, but is it like a digital Lake Placid or is it something like that?
No.
I'm off base. All right, what is it?
Lake Placid verse.
Oh, Lake Placid verse. The Sharknado? Anaconda. Okay, yeah. That's Lake Placid verse Anaconda. It's funny that they don't put giant alligator. they call it Lake Placid.
Right. Yeah.
like the creature is called Lake Placid.
I think I have to watch this one now because I had seen Final Chapter, and so like pretty much all of these star Yancey Butler as the new sheriff.
Yeah, of course they do.
And
yeah,
sometimes it's Corin Nemec, and sometimes it's Colin Ferguson, and sometimes Robert Englund's there. But yeah, I have to watch this one now.
Well, better you than me. That's all I said. We're demonstrating some of the depths of dreck that you can get into when you get into the sci-fi originals. This movie is, if I went and paid money to see this movie in the theater, and by this movie I mean Leprechaun Return, I'm not going to go home like going, oh my God, I got to tell everybody I know to go see this. But like, yeah, all right, I got my money's worth.
Yeah. If I saw this drunk, I'd be happy. If I saw it at a cheap matinee, I'd be happy. Definitely dollar theater. This would be great.
Yeah, if I paid full price, but again, this is a movie I'm going and I'm doing a little, I'm getting a little toned up. I'm getting a little tuned up before I go in there. I'm having some fun. I'm getting weird. I'm getting scared, and I'm gonna have fun with it.
I'm consulting with the wizard before I see the leprechaun.
Did I send you that meme of it's just like somebody pointing a gun at their refrigerator and says the best thing about getting high is getting scared? Yeah. Did I send you? It just cracked me up. That's where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to get real fucked up, get scared, and then go watch Leprechaun Return. Let's get into the storyline. Let's talk about some of the notable parts of this movie. We start out in true, sci-fi channel sequel fashion, where we get essentially a recap of the last, couple of minutes, or, the last several minutes of the first movie, which basically just shows how they got the leprechaun, how he, quote unquote, died in the first one. But we get some cool Steven Kostanski-esque, gross out effects, which is fun. We then get kind of a jolt over to Lila. We get introduced to her. She is Jennifer Aniston's character, which I didn't write down what her name is because I don't remember.
Tori.
But for those of you who don't know, was it Tori? Mm-hmm. You said? Yeah, Tori. Jennifer Aniston's character, for those of you who don't know, the original Leprechaun film was the feature-length film debut of one Jennifer Aniston, which is crazy. Not unlike Brad Pitt, not unlike George Clooney. A lot of these like A-list celebrities, even, they had their first forays on film in genre films, and Jennifer Aniston is no exception. She was the star of that movie. This is now 25 years later, and Lila is her daughter. Apparently, our boy's still in a well. That's what happened. They like then they shoot like a 4-leaf clover via slingshot and knock him into a well or some shit at the end of the first movie. Yeah,
they can't show any footage from the original movie, so it's like Kostanski just rebuilds it all in a fucking melty puppet skeleton, which is awesome. But yeah, he does like a CGI 4-leaf clover getting flung by a slingshot, and you don't see any of the other characters because they don't have the rights and they're not paying they're not paying those royalties. Fuck you, Jennifer Aniston. We're just going to start from clover goes in the mouth, leprechaun goes in the well, our well.
Well, goes in the well, we go in after the leprechaun. But yeah, she's got too much fucking money. She doesn't need any more money. Now cut to Lila. She's on a bus. She gets off on the bus at the bus stop. No one's there to pick her up. Someone's supposed to be there to pick her up, but they're not there to pick her up. And we learn that she is going to work on, this is a hilarious premise. She has joined, she apparently goes to college, or transferred to go to college in a school in middle of nowhere, North Dakota, right? Why they decided to set this there, I don't remember the first movie being set in North Dakota. Maybe it was, and I just missed that.
It's all the same. Like it's going back to the same house and all of that.
I know I just never remember. I know this is supposed to be the same house, but I just don't remember them mentioning North Dakota in the first movie. Maybe they did. I've seen it multiple times, but if they did, it went, just in one ear and out the other. But they're going to North Dakota. She's going to college in North Dakota. She is going to join a sorority that is a new sorority, the only sorority on campus. And she is, they are like this, I guess, kind of, we'll call it a green sorority, right? They're very environmentally conscious. They want to live off the grid. They're going to power their sorority house with, solar panels. They're going to have, this well, they're going to do all this stuff to be off the grid. They're very environmentally conscious, right? We learn pretty early on, because we are introduced to our old pal, the creep about town, Ozzy, which is of course Francis from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. He's creeping around. Hey, do you need a ride? Whatever, at the bus station. The person who's hasn't shown up to pick her up doesn't answer her phone. She calls a cab. Lo and behold, Ozzy is also the only cab driver in town. So she ends up getting a ride with Ozzy, and she learns that Ozzy knew her mom, aka Jennifer Aniston. He's looking at her like, I know, we've never met, but you look familiar. Blah blah blah. Ozzy, very sympathetic character. Just kind of your classic nice small town simpleton. Mm-hmm. And eventually we realize that, Jennifer Aniston was her mom. She was nice to him. He's kind of hinting at the fact that wherever they're going to fix up this house, is the same house that her mom, encountered the titular leprechaun in the first movie. So if you didn't see that coming, I don't know what to tell you, because it's laid out there pretty clearly.
And this actress, though, could not look less like Jennifer Aniston.
Not even a little bit.
I don't know. Didn't even give her the fucking haircut. Give her the haircut. And, I know the haircut wasn't a part of the film.
That would have been funny to give her the haircut.
Yeah. I know it's not part of the film, but at least it's a way to make a connection. And it's funny because Ozzy somehow recognizes her. She looks nothing like her. You don't recognize anything. You're a liar.
Yeah. Bullshit. You say that to all the girls you abduct on the side of the highway.
Just another thing in the scene while they're driving in the truck, Ozzy has a bunch of 4-leaf clover paraphernalia all over his truck. Stickers all over the dashboard and shit. Yeah. And the line of questioning follows such that Lila is asking him about it. Oh, are you Irish? Oh, do you just like it? And every response from him is just no, ew, yuck, ew, you Irish, yuck, no.
No. Filthy illiterate locusts. Yeah. He's not interested in him, but he does have all these things. So it's bears the question, but he dismisses all of it. He does warn her that, hey, everything's okay. He's kind of trying to talk to himself okay, everything's good. That was a long time ago. That was 25 years ago. Everything's okay now. But if it's not, look in the basement. That's what he says. So he seems to be very, unsure about the whole thing, obviously giving Lila some weird vibes. She gets dropped off. She finds immediately the well. So we know, hey, that's the well that our boys, was banished to. We get introduced to a variety of friends, right? This is the sorority girls, and then quickly thereafter, a couple of boys that they keep around. So we've got a hippie horny friend. We've got like a mean, weird, nervous type A friend. We've got like the substance abuse friend. I don't know how else to put it. 'Cause she's not just a stoner. Like she's also really into like getting boozed up too.
Yeah.
Like she's just substance abuse friend.
She's just drunk blonde for no reason other than drunk blonde.
Yeah. Yeah. We have and then we have Irish jock, weird Irish jock, which I was waiting the whole time for there to be like some sort of twist with him. And he was like a Colonel Cochran type situation. I don't know.
An agent.
Speaking of the devil, Dan's here in the chat with us, and that's his handle on the Discord. Like I was expecting something like that to happen, but no. Spoiler alert: it's just a red herring at best. And then we have another one who's like the weird film nerd friend that has a drone. So that's those are the two boys at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to use the well. They're trying to get the well functional. Of course, we get established right off the bat. No cell service. You don't say. They're out in the middle of the damn desert. It looks not desert, but just like prairie, desert, wasteland kind of fucking area. Obviously, ideal scenario for a sorority house. Where the fuck is the college at? I mean, this looks like we are 100 miles from nowhere, but apparently we're close enough for them to go to a college nearby.
Yeah, like I knew friends who had like in the smaller they went to Geneva and Grove City, and their their quote frat houses or whatever, like their approved college housing was way off campus.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, I lived in a fraternity house in college that was, probably a good, more than a quarter mile from campus, but like we lived in a city, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we lived in a town. This is the middle of goddamn nowhere.
Right.
Although, yeah, I don't know. I've also been to the Colorado Mining College in Golden, Colorado, which is, if you walk for 20 minutes in any direction, you're in the fucking desert. So,
yeah,
I guess there's weirder places, but
Golden, Colorado is nice. I got fucking high and walked. I was just like doing a hike in the mountain and wound up stumbling upon who's buried up there, Buffalo Bill.
Something like that. Yeah, I've heard this before. Wild Bill.
Yeah, Wild Bill
Hickok, maybe.
Yeah, one of those guys. But yeah, I was just on a hike and I wound up stumbling upon the fucking gift shop there, and it's like, oh, they got jerky. Sick.
Hell yeah. Yeah, if there's one thing they have at the gift shop for the grave of Wild Bill Hickok, it's jerky.
Yeah.
They got knives and they got jerky. And carabiners. All right. So Ozzy, after dropping her off, gets up the road and realizes he forgot his phone, which feels out of character for Ozzy to even have a phone, but he does. He goes back. He ends up getting what I can only describe as getting splashed by leprechaun water from the from the well, and that pretty quickly he gets back in his truck. He starts getting the old BGs. He starts getting the old bubble guts. And this reminded me, because he's in the truck, this old ass truck, his guts are gurgling, and it reminded me of a scene from one of my favorite movies, which is Next Friday, with the "Help me please, help me please," when he's like, after he puts the hot sauce on his burrito, "Move over, help me please." But in this instance, instead of having diarrhea at a roadside stand, he gives birth to a leprechaun out of his guts. A leprechaun busts out of his guts in a cool practical effects shot, by the way, which is, a hallmark of this movie. Like I said, I love the look of the new leprechaun. It's weirdly, like, this sounds silly to say, we're talking about a goddamn little evil leprechaun. Strangely, a little bit more like understated than the makeup for Warwick Davis.
Okay.
But creepy. I think the voice is cool. I was really skeptical going in of like, this is going to feel weird that it's not Warwick Davis, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was really impressed by the it wasn't quite as theatrical and over the top, like far less so.
But
I think that was a good decision, because I think if he tried to do that, it would have been like, oh, you're just trying to do Warwick Davis.
Yeah. I like the look, especially because it kind of reminded me of, I don't know if you ever played like the Secret of Monkey Island games on PC.
My cousin was obsessed with them in college. Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. So like in those games, like you face like the ghost pirate LeChuck, but like you beat him in the first game, and then he comes back as a zombie in the second game, and then a demon in the third game. So like his look is always changing. So the way that the Leprechaun looks more like dead and haggard because he's already been beaten once. You know, in the technical canon of this timeline, he got beaten once, so now he comes back as like a little undead type guy. And so I like that look, and I like that progression. The voice, I felt like could have reflected that a little bit more though, and been like gravelier,
a little more haggard.
Yeah. That's all. I mean,
I can see that.
I don't think the performance that the actor does is bad. I just think it could have been like a little more lined up is all. It's minor nitpicking.
No, it's definitely more subdued, the voice and the performance. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I thought it was just going to be cringeworthy, and I liked it. So maybe my bar was set pretty low, but.
And remember, folks at home, we haven't seen the one with Hornswoggle, so like we probably would have been blown the fuck away if we had seen that before this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really just out of morbid curiosity. I think I do need to check out the Hornswoggle one, at least if it's just to skim it. But anyway, so now Lila's getting introduced to the whole crew and the sorority and the boys they invited over. It's like she's telling everyone about her mom's leprechaun problems, like right off the bat, which is like a tough thing to lead with. She also, you know, because they're like, you're fucking weird, and then she goes to bed, and she does have a dream about Ozzy, but then during the dream, like some blood drips on her face, and she wakes up and the drip's still there. So we're like, maybe it wasn't a dream. Anyway, we get a fun scene where the basement floods because something with the well, whatever. And we get the cool little scene of you know, almost like, you know,
it's Jaws.
I mean, I don't want to say, well, yes, but I was going to say his hat is in fact like a shark's fin.
Yeah.
So I was going to say Deep Blue Sea, but
yeah.
We get a little Deep Blue Sea action there with him kind of coming up out of the water, which is fun. He follows him out to the barn. We learn that the leprechaun's powers have been diminished by being, you know, down in a well for 25 years. So he's got to get his gold. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
And we know he's got to kill some people as well. And that's going to help him get his magic back, get his power back. Lila is definitely starting to have a little bit of chemistry with the drone nerd. She's also seeing Ozzy's ghost definitively now, who's like trying to alert her to something. We don't know what yet. We get our first kill because again, you know, the leprechaun's trying to get his mojo back. He goes after a poor defenseless mailman, pulls him. He's hiding in the mailbox, pulls him into the mailbox, and then runs over the mailbox when it's on his head with the mail truck, which is a fun slapsticky head squished in a mailbox gag. Love it.
Yeah, I wasn't fully into the movie until this point, because like when he kills Ozzy, like it's a good effect and everything, but I feel like it wasn't funny. It wasn't a Looney Tunes type thing. He just kind of burst out of his guts, and it's like, okay. And then they did the Jaws reference in the basement, and then they do an Apocalypse Now joke as well, because
I missed
like when Lila leaves the basement, he comes up from the water like Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now. But then,
of course, yeah.
But then for some reason he delivers the Robert Duvall line, and goes,
Yes.
"Oh, I love the smell of meat gold in the morning." And it's like, that's not what, dumbass. Those like I get it's supposed to be all
I didn't even
Apocalypse
make
Now,
the
but
connection that I didn't even make the connection that was like, I was just so caught up in his hat was like a shark's fin because of course in the words of Ice Cube, my hat is like a shark's fin.
LL Cool J, but
yeah, LL Cool J, ladies love Cool James. I'm sorry, not Ice Cube. We were just talking about Ice Cube last episode when we were talking about Mutant Mayhem, but then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But we also get another reference here in a moment, which is a Psycho reference because he's sneaking up on Lila in the shower, and you think he's going to pull the curtain aside or whatever, the famous shower scene from Psycho, but in fact he flushes the toilet, which is a funny gag, but also is another layer of the onion being peeled back with Psycho, because famously Psycho was the first film to ever show a toilet. Which was weirdly edgy at the time to show a toilet.
Yeah. I feel like
or the first like mainstream big film. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like that is probably like a Kostanski thing that he would probably know, like, you know, the toilet and he would know that kind of stuff. But I feel like the Apocalypse Now joke is from just the regular writer of this film. Like they vaguely know Apocalypse Now. So they make, so it's like that toss up. And that's why I got on board when we have this Looney Tunes ass kill of, you know, the mailman running around with a mailbox on his head, gets hit by his own truck and then gets backed over and his head is squished in the mailbox. Like that's pure Kostanski, and that's pure hilarity. It's funny. Yeah. It's great. So like, I'm like, okay, there is like, he wasn't just reined in by SYFY and made to do a movie. He got to be free in his movie. And then there's a lot more things after that are just fucking great bits.
Oh yeah. He's ramping up the bits here in a hot second. The Leprechaun does reveal himself to Lila in her bedroom and explains everything to her immediately. Because again, this is a sci-fi movie, so she's got to explain the lore, because why else would she know about it, and all this stuff. So she figures out, oh, this is the monster my mom was talking about. She explains earlier when she's talking to Ozzy that her mom died of cancer, but before that went crazy. You know, she insists she didn't go crazy, but she had mental health issues, blah, blah, blah. She was always talking about this monster coming to get her. It's just really funny to me to like put all that stuff on Jennifer Aniston's character as well. I don't know.
She's dead and crazy. She was dead and crazy and an outcast.
She's dead, crazy. Yeah, she's fucking dead and she's crazy, and sorry about that. But there was something which I did kind of miss this, but he explains how he came back, which he explains that if just, you know, as long as there's a part of him remaining, he can kind of reform himself. But he talks something about the bit of gold that was in Ozzy's bowels, because he also has to have his gold. But I'm like, what gold was in Ozzy's bowels? Did I miss that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. All right. It wasn't maybe just me, at least.
Yeah, maybe that's a reference to something from the original movie where Ozzy accidentally ate a piece of gold or something. Yeah, I don't...
that's what I was thinking. It's like, am I missing something here? But yeah, anyway. Okay, good. I thought I missed something obvious. This is... it wouldn't be a Leprechaun film without some really stupid, you know, punny one-timer, you know, one-timer jokes. He at one point she's kind of chasing / you know, wrestling around with Lila. He ends up licking her leg and says fruity and full-bodied with a hint of your mother. Which is, I mean, if you can't dig that, if you can't get down with something like that, you're not going to like the rest of this movie because there are so many stupid one-liners in this movie. It's outrageous. And the last 10 minutes, they're like 12 dumbass one-liners. So, but that's kind of what this movie is built on. You know, it was like, you know, it took the, you know, and most of them, I will say, make Freddy Krueger look like, you know, fucking Chaucer. You know what I mean? Like
right.
they are really dog shit. Oh, like really, really bad. And that's what this franchise is known for. So Lila has this necklace, you know, that has like a piece of what you think of as his gold on the end of it. So it's important to note that for later in the movie. They're wrestling around. She punches his head off, just punches it, and it just flops off and is just hanging there by a neck flap, which is a cool, unexpected effect.
Mm-hmm.
It then flops back over, and he, of course, you know, kind of reconstitutes, and he said, "You give great head."
Yeah, which she doesn't. Like she gave you fist. She gave you fist.
Yeah. Yep. Lila is not that blown away by the fact that there is a murderous leprechaun there, which is kind of interesting. I mean, again, we got to get past that because it's a sci-fi movie and it's 122 minutes or something.
I think she had, you know, it's never clear because obviously Jennifer, we don't have any flashback scenes, but Jennifer Aniston. But I think the idea is that she was fully aware of her mom's wacky, weird and wacky tales of a leprechaun that came out of a well. So she's aware. And then when it happens to her, then she goes, but she kind of seems like an asshole for, I guess I know I'm asking a lot of a sci-fi film, but the motive, the ulterior motive of the character should have been to come to this house and discover the truth about the leprechaun, not participate in a green, you know, sorority like that. Yes, the green sorority is why she's there, but she's actually there leprechaun hunting is what it should have been. Yeah, which is why she's not surprised when he does show up.
Yeah. Show her Charlie Day, you know, leprechaun billboard with all the pins in it and the you know, the yarn from point to point. Like, she's here for leprechaun to solve leprechaun conspiracies and clear her mother's name.
Right.
Yeah, agreed. There are some tenuous ties at best. Like, we didn't even mention the fact that, like, there is a thing that exists in this universe called clover juice that we're just introduced to. And it's presented as like, yeah, you guys know clover juice. Everyone drinks it. It's great.
Which I guess they do in North Dakota, maybe.
Maybe. I think it's just like, it's like wheatgrass, maybe. Yeah. I don't fucking know.
Look, I don't know the terroir of North Dakota, but that sounds like a thing that you do when, like, you're trying to replicate, you know, the Erewhon kale smoothie, but you don't have any of those things, so you just pull up what's in the dirt around you, and it's just like, we got a bunch of clover. Yeah, we just have a big field of clovers, and it grows all the time, and so now we serve it at the commissary at the fucking university. Don't you kids love clover juice? Now in mango.
Yeah, it's like our equivalent is like, you know, the dandelion greens or something, dandelion wine or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
We get a golden shower joke, which is great. The party girl, the habitually intoxicated girl, ends up just taking a selfie with him. And while they're outside arguing about, like, oh, no, you're crazy, Lila, the drunk girl comes out and is just like, oh, look, I just took a picture with him. And they're all like, what? And they just like, I thought that was kind of fun. She just took a selfie with him, and then now they're all like forced to believe he exists, or at least something in there weird is happening.
Yeah, he's never like and this remains in line with the franchise. He's not like a secretive villain because he's not afraid of anybody. So he's willing to just interact on basic dumb levels, which is how I believe you get scenes of him, doing bong rips in Leprechaun in the Hood. Like he's not afraid to
just
do
literally
rips.
Going on stage at like a Vegas act,
Yeah. Doesn't bother him.
He's
to
not
do those
secretive.
Things.
He will just show up and just like present himself in front of a lot of people. We get so many dated jokes in this. Like we get a Walkman joke. We get an MC Hammer joke later. Oh, it's just like that. It's strange how dated some of these jokes are.
Does he make the hammer joke? Because I don't think he makes it.
He does.
Yeah. He does, because he also does the genie pants dance. So like, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was gonna say, I was like, wait, did the girl make it? Because that wouldn't have made sense. But no, I do like that he has nothing but dated references, because he's stuck in 1992. That's the last time he was out. So I don't know. I like that.
Yeah. But the thing is, 1992 isn't 25 years ago.
No, but I don't. But this movie's 2018, so
that's true. But 2018 to 1992, I guess. Yeah, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah. You forgot what time does. You forgot we're 8 years past this movie.
I forgot this movie came out in 2018. In my mind, this movie came out just now. Anyway, there is a fairly stupid but fun creative kill with the dumbass jock who, we didn't talk about it, but he, like, him and the one corny hippie girl are like banging, and they are hanging solar panels earlier in the episode, or not in the film, I mean, and the solar panel falls, and it's not sharp. In fact, it is quite blunt, but it still somehow slices him perfectly across the like y-axis, and also like vertically. You know what I mean? Like it cuts him in half vertically.
It splits him like the horse in the movie The Cell.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you look at this piece of equipment, they even have the balls to show like the side view to show just how wide and blunt the object is. It's like if I took a brick and cut your arm off with it. Like that's how little sense it makes. But it's fine. It's fine. It's a fun little effect. We get this cool little thing of like him creeping on the one girl in the house. He like rolls his hat up and then jumps out of the hat. I thought that was fun. But they're speculating that this is a setup for a gag. Rose is like the type A, like annoying friend, who's like really into the whole like off the grid cause thing. And they're speculating that he had eaten her. And maybe my favorite line in the whole movie, the one girl says, I don't think he's a cannibal. And the other girl said, in the way she says it, the line, it's a terrible line, but she does so much with it. I was really impressed. He goes, I don't think he's a cannibal. And the other girl goes, he seems too refined. He's wearing that freaking jaunty hat. And I was just like, that is a terrible line. And she did so much with it. Like the emphasis on jaunty and like frustration when she says it was just laugh out loud funny to me.
There are some fucking god awful line reads and like terrible acting like all around in this movie. Like Lila is fine, and Francis is fine. But everybody else is like really hit or miss or fucking complete dog shit. And I have a note that just reads this goat is a better actor than Andy, because they're for whatever reason they have like live goats. They have live goats wandering around. They do bits with the goats, on and off. But at one point, like, they just they edit in a goat reaction shot. I was like, that goat's a better actor than Andy.
Both of the dudes in this movie, Andy and what was the other one's name? Michael or something? I don't fucking know. Matt, that's it. They're both abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. The Irish kid is horrible. I mean, they're both really, really bad. We get this extended, like, everyone's looking for each other scene. Like, the kids are looking for Rose. The other group of kids, I think, are looking for the Leprechaun. Obviously, the Leprechaun's like kind of stalking them. They end up running outside, getting in the car. And then there's this fun little scene of like, they're all in the car, like, all right, get off, take off. And all of a sudden you just hear his voice. He's like, yeah, he's probably right behind us or whatever. You look down and he's just standing in the middle of the car. I don't know. It's a fun little gag. They all do the delayed scream. He makes a joke about like Priuses. Like, I don't know, he thinks Priuses are dumb or something. I forget what they're driving. I think it's a Prius.
Yeah, it's either a Prius or an EV, whatever it is. But it's
but
throwaway line.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. He's starting to take on a little bit of a Tim Allen type of mentality. Like, he doesn't like hybrid cars. Like, you're expecting him to be like, what are you guys, vegans? You're kind of expecting him to take on this kind of like last man standing Tim Allen type of like weird conservative dad vibe.
The Adam Carolla of leprechauns.
Yeah, he's kind of giving off those types of vibes, but so Ozzy the ghost is showing up. Lila is, I think she's in the basement at this point. She's kind of caught in the basement. All the rest of them, are outside. They couldn't find her. They're in the car dealing with him. Ozzy ghost shows up. He's got like worms falling out of his guts and stuff. She just gives him some saran wrap to like try to keep his guts in. So we get this pretty this gross out scene, but he's trying to like essentially mime to her because he can't talk. I don't know, apparently ghosts can't talk in this world, but about how they trapped the leprechaun, and she's just not getting it. But she explains about the 4-leaf clover and the well and whatever. He gives her a map to his gold, to the leprechaun's gold. So at least she takes that from the conversation. Maybe the silliest scene in the movie, the 4 remaining kids. So this is Stone, or 5, right? I think there's 5 in the car because it's Stoner.
I think it's I think it's only
the 3 girls and the 1.
Oh yeah,
it's
4.
It's
3. It's 4.
3 girls and the one remaining boy. Yeah, because the other boy's dead. So there's the 3 girls and the 1 remaining boy. So everyone minus Lila, who's still alive, are escaping in the car, and they're like, "Well, we got to get Lila." And then like the one girl's like, "No, fuck her," and the other girl's like, "No, we got to save her." Anyway, and then the leprechaun comes up riding the drone. He's controlling it himself. He's got the like 2018, so it's kind of big. It's got like the big RC controller, and he's riding the drone, flips him off. Classic leprechaun move.
Classic.
And then impales himself on like a stick, and but of course he can just come back to life because the parts are still there. They crash the car. We learn that the stoner has made a deal with him. And, he's basically like kind of sold out Lila. So she gets to leave and he's like, I won't lay a hand on you. So she takes off and then he chases her into this. It looks like a field of some sort. I don't know, but it's got a sprinkler system with like sprinkler heads every 5 feet for some reason. It's like basically chases her into Stardew Valley, and she rolls in there. There's sprinklers every 5 feet, and he starts like directing the sprinklers like he's directing an orchestra, and eventually just starts firing sprinkler heads at her, like beating her up with sprinkler heads, and then one goes into her mouth, killing her, spikes into her mouth, and then the sprinkler starts shooting blood. So not terrifically unlike the scene with the blood shooting out of the head tap from Jimmy and Stiggs from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I just dumb as hell.
Yeah, just dumb as hell. I want to go back to Lila in the basement, because the thing that made me laugh the hardest happens there. After Ozzy leaves the basement and walks through the wall and just leaves her alone, and she's like, I can't get out that way, and she has to figure out another way to get out. She is just looking around this dirty basement and picks up, I'm not even sure what it is. It looks like maybe a HEPA filter or something. Like, it's just like just a nondescript thing. And she looks at a window that has like grating across it, like metal grating. And then she just throws this plastic container at an iron grated window, and it bounces and falls to the floor. And I just started laughing because it reminded me of the scene in Cannibal the Musical where they're all standing at the river and Trey Parker picks up the rock and throws it into the river to find out how deep it is. And it just hits the water and sinks, and like everybody's standing around waiting, and then somebody speaks up and go, what the fuck was that supposed to do? That line immediately played in my head when she threw the plastic container at the grate, and she was like, I don't know what I was doing there.
Oh man, I thought that was, for a quick second, I thought that was going to do something. Yeah, she's good. I like her. I mean, it's nothing tremendous, but like she's got good, comedic timing, and she does enough. The movie jerk does get decapitated with his own drone, as you maybe saw coming. You saw this drone, and it was Chekhov's drone. Somebody's getting their head cut off with those blades at some point, which he does. They then find the gold, his gold stash, but we learn that the one friend, the super uptight one, who's super into the whole house project, had been taking the gold periodically to pay for the house project, and has taken almost all of it. And they're like, well, you took a leprechaun's gold, you dumbass, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, how would she have known it's a leprechaun? But whatever. We get a little recreation of the leprechaun coming up over the hill shot with the backlight. Classic shot from the original movie. They decide to try to trick the leprechaun by filling the bowl underneath the remaining gold with tampons. Because that's just what they had a bunch of at the time. And I'm like, I feel like you could have had more rocks or sticks, like you're outside, but they decided to do it with tampons so they could do a joke, which is it's your time of the month whenever he pulls one of the tampons out, which is, geez, Christ on a cracker. It's rough, but they don't get any better from here on out. We learned that the necklace that Lila was wearing was made of fool's gold, and that's some sort of iron. I don't know what the actual metal makeup of fool's gold is, but it's some sort of
pyrite.
Iron pyrite. And basically they try to trick him with the tampons, and also to get him to like, she's going to give him all the gold, and then her necklace is iron pyrite, and they decide to trap him in a circle of iron, and then they put the fool's gold around his neck, because that's part of the way you can, I don't know, repel him or control him, is with fool's gold. They then basically put a funnel in his mouth and like force feed him the aforementioned clover juice. Don't know why. Feel like it could have been any liquid, but they make a point to establish not only do they drink clover juice, but they have these, I guess, gardens, and the substance abuse friend likes to ferment all the various products into booze. All seems very unnecessary, but they do force feed it down his throat, which of course causes him to explode.
Yeah, because he was beaten by the clovers before, and now you're feeding it to him in juice form.
Clover juice in juice form, sure. But there's chunks of him all over the room. Those chunks, reconstitute, and now there's a bunch of little versions of him. And this is where we get the MC Hammer joke, because the uptight girl who is in the room when he starts reconstituting into all the little leprechauns, when I say little, I'm talking about like, maybe action figure height, right? They pop up, she grabs a hammer and starts trying to, go after with a hammer. And he says, can't touch this, and starts doing the hammer dance, which I can't think of a gag that even in 2018, less like teenagers would have gotten.
like
you might as well make a like, where's the beef joke? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where's the beef? Like if you go deeper and maybe like somehow make a Belle Biv DeVoe fucking poison joke, it's just,
or Milli Vanilli lip syncing joke.
Oh, like, yeah, Milli Vanilli lip syncing joke. That's, nobody fucking gets that.
Like, this is the level of joke we're talking about here. But they do that. He does finally come. She starts wailing on all the little, creatures, fights one starts biting on her nose or something. They do come back together for one final battle. And ultimately, the way they kill him is he's standing on his gold, and they electrocute him because the conductivity of the gold, apparently. But they electrocute him. And as they're electrocuting him, I think it's the horny hippie friend, but she says, how's that for energy efficiency?
Yep.
Which is a bad line on so many levels. And then he's on fire, okay, because he's been electrocuted. He's sitting there frying. He bursts into flames. And as the leprechaun is spinning around on fire, he says, in perfect, clear, enunciated phrase, and they say there's no global warming. He's doing like Jay Leno bits as he's on fire.
Hey, folks, you hear about this? I'm on fire.
Yeah, it's, oh boy. I get it. This is what this is known for. It's kind of making a joke of like, how bad can it be kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they set him on fire. They kick him in the head. He tries to make one little last plea earlier. I skipped over it because it doesn't really matter, but they do a thing where he keeps using Lila's mom's voice, which sounds like Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, sounds like her, but it's not her.
Because I was like, did they AI it? No, somebody's doing an impression of her. Mm-hmm. And eventually, he does one more like, hey, we can get out of here, whatever, doing the mom's voice to tug on her heartstrings. She says, go fuck yourself. She actually says, I got a limerick for you. Eat a dick, ass baggins. Which, what is that? First of all, not a limerick, not even close.
Nope.
And what's ass baggins? I mean, I get the joke. Is it supposed to be like Bilbo Baggins? Because he's little? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like,
I don't get it.
They're trying, like, hobbits aren't leprechauns, and Tolkien wasn't Irish.
Well, they did make the joke. No, of course he wasn't. But they did say earlier something about when they call him a troll, and he's like, that's just offensive or whatever. So it's like there's dumb gay. But I'm like, I actually watched this scene, just this 45 seconds a second time to go like, am I missing something here? Because she says, I got a limerick for you. Eat a dick, ass baggins. And
yep, that's it.
I don't know. It's more of a riddle to try to figure out what the joke was supposed to be. But she kicks him back down into the
it's
into
just
the
shortism.
House.
It's just shortism is all it is. Like, it's just everybody who's short is the same thing.
Ass baggins. The place explodes, bursts into flames, and then it explodes a second time, like a real full-on explodes. They get drenched in, I don't know, I guess leprechaun goo, or I don't know if it's supposed to be clover juice, whatever, but they get all drenched in that. They see Ozzy's ghost one more time, kind of thanking her for, hey, you finally did the thing or whatever. Never mind. He's fine. We meander back through the wreckage of the explosion, and we see his hat. And apparently, if his hat's intact, then he can rejuvenate. And we cut to not even just like a surprise of like, oh, hey, we see something, and then we see his hat, and then we hear him laugh. No, we literally just see him walking down the side of like a country road, just the same leprechaun. A chicken truck pulls up, and he just gets on the back and is riding away on the back of like a truck carrying chickens.
Yeah, he has a sign hitchhiking to Bismarck to go get his gold from the pawn shop.
Yep. So that's it. That is Leprechaun Returns from 2018. Just some dumbass, stupid, but good-hearted fun. That limerick line might haunt me for the foreseeable future, though.
It's going to be playing in your brain just forever. See, it didn't stick with me. Like, I just let it go. What stuck with me from that scene is while the house is on fire and they're trying to escape out the basement, in the quickest of cuts, it's probably a half a second cut. They cut to the leprechaun. They've stapled a leprechaun dummy to a door, set it on fire, and thrown it down the basement stairs. It's the funniest fucking just like slapstick ragdoll puppet slam. And I don't know, they just cut to it so quickly and then it's gone. And I'm like, what was that?
Yeah.
What was that?
Gotta rewind to look at what that was. Yeah, I think it's gonna be like that. I don't know if you remember, speaking of dated references, but Lewis Black, stand-up comedian Lewis Black, if you remember the bit that he used to do about how he heard a little bit of a conversation and it stuck with him forever because he heard the woman say, like, if it wasn't for that horse, I would have never spent that year in grad school.
Yeah.
You remember that bit?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be me. Like, I'm going to be like, just staring at a wall somewhere, for the rest of my life and just thinking, I've got a limerick for you. Eat a dick, ass baggins. Like, that might be on my gravestone.
Could be your gravestone. Could be like, as you're as you're led to the gallows. It's your, it's your,
Yeah.
it's your final words.
My last words. Or it's like they find me, gone completely insane, bounce off the walls, and they look in the typewriter, and I just written that over and over and over again.
It's on the walls of the cell, like Sam Neill in The Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
Just written ass baggins all over your face.
Yeah, I just writ every inch of the cell all over my face, everything. Ass baggins. All right, well, that's it. What'd you think, Steve? Did you have I had a decent time with it. I would go as far as to say I had a good time with it. I sat there and enjoyed watching this movie. It's a tight 93 minutes. It moves pretty quick. I just, it was just a no fuss, no muss, fun little silly watch.
Yeah. I mean, you have a whole bunch of scales going on. It's not the best Kostanski film, but it's a far better sci-fi film than it has any right being, and it's not the worst Leprechaun film either. So you
definitely not.
It's gradients. There's levels. There's a great.
There's levels to this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. There's another great line. But it's when Matt decides to stand against the Leprechaun to save the girls.
Oh,
and the
out
girls,
in the yard. Yeah.
Yeah. And the girls are running away, and I believe it's Rose, and she goes, "Thank you, Matt. Werner Herzog would be proud of you." It's like, and then they're like, "Who's Werner Herzog?" It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good line too. Yeah, there's a lot of it's a sci-fi original. It's supposed to be dumb. It's got some gore. It's got some silly little gags. Yeah.
We didn't even talk about one of the most surprising gags of when.
What was that?
It's at the end, and it's when the horny hippie girl is like, she's running through the yard, and she's like preparing.
Oh yeah.
I think it's when she's preparing like the pump for clover juice, but she slips on her fuck buddy's arm and lands in half of his body after he had been severed by the solar panel. Yeah, and it's like a big practical like dummy that she falls into that's full of guts, and it's gross, but it looks great because it's all practical.
Yeah, and then she does I forget what she says. The line is dumb. She's like, "We broke up," or something. Like, she's like mad at the corpse for having been there for her to slip on. I forgot about that bit. Yeah, it was good. It was just a face plant into an open corpse of her ex-boyfriend.
Never seen that before, and it made me laugh.
No, yeah, that was a first. That was a first. That's one thing you could say. I think without a doubt, you're watching a Steven Kostanski movie, you're gonna probably see at least one thing you never saw before. He's gonna make that a point. But fun watch. I watched it on Amazon Prime. I don't know where else. I think it was on Hulu, perhaps, as well. But you can find it around. You can find it around on the internet. All right. One more thing. Let me remind you, we talked about the top of the show, but make sure you check out this week on the social medias at Halloween is Forever. If you're a patron or you're considering joining our Patreon, you can go over and check that out and go and vote as well on the Discord or just on the social medias at Halloween is Forever. We are going to have our poll for our April Showdown. Again, options are Horror on the Battlefield, boo, featuring Lance Hendrickson, yay. Best of Vincent Price, also, yay. Go do one of those. I'll be happy with either one of those. I think one of those are definitely going to win. But I think those will be fun things to talk about in April. So,
Yep.
Anything else before we wrap up this here minisode?
Nope. It's have you seen the news about Nicholas Winding Refn's next movie.
Mm-mm.
He's remaking Maniac Cop.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a film that I feel needs remade, but I guess you could make it certainly very prescient at this point.
Sure. Yeah. I think it's just the choice of director that makes that insane. Like, we've talked about him a little bit, especially on Youth Group is Forever, when we talked about that one crazy Baptist exploitation film that like had the guy talking about numbers and shit. I forget the name of this, but it was the exploitation film.
I don't remember.
And then it has the cool like hell sequences where like everybody's dressed up like in theater garb. And like we're talking about how, you know, Nicholas Winding Refn is like a big fan of that movie, and then like all his other movies are kind of like, he's like up his own ass a little bit. You know, he's close to Aronofsky, but I think he's actually smarter than Aronofsky. But then to say I'm gonna remake this 80s schlock as like my next big film is a wild choice. And so it just I don't know, it started giving me hope for things like Martin Scorsese's Frankenhooker. So I don't know.
I like that. No, I mean, listen, I like the originals. I like Maniac Cop, and I think even Maniac Cop 2 might even be better. But yeah, not necessarily movies I go back and revisit. Wouldn't be on the top of my list for remakes, but I don't know. We shall see. A lot of fun stuff coming out here in the next few months. And I've been bad at watching new stuff already. I finally just watched like Begonia and stuff in the last few months. So I need to get up. I have not went out and seen Dracula yet with Christoph Waltz.
The new one.
I've not seen The Bride. I have really low expectations, but I probably will go see it. I haven't seen shit lately, like new that's been out. So I need to get on top of that because there's tons of stuff coming out in like April and May. It actually gets kind of crazy in terms of all the new stuff that's coming out. So if you have any suggestions, if you got things you want us to talk about, if you insist that we talk about The Bride, if you went and saw it and boy, it's just so great. And it's not as cringy as the previews look and trailers. Tell us and maybe we will.
That's such a hot topic movie. Like, send that movie back in time. Send that movie to 2010.
Yeah.
God, kids are going to love it.
What if Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein were Bonnie and Clyde? That's what it looks like. And I am probably going to watch it, but it's going to be really, really bad. All right. Well, if that's it, thanks again, Boils and Goals. We appreciate you. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
And I'm not going to do an offensive Irish accent.
Yeah, neither am I. Good day. Wait, I went Australian. Fuck. All right, bye.